I hope this all works. Yes, it does. Okay. How are you doing? Let me first completely face flip this around. I didn't want to, no, I want to move my Discord here and then close it. And then I want to close here. I was installing plugins, but I'm I have to, kind of take it a little bit easier because I just completely ran super fast into, shower, stream, getting ready, lights, everything. So I have no idea if things are set up. You can't see, or maybe you can't, but below here, there's 300,000 bantams that have just been pulling out like this. Like, yeah, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. I gotta do stuff to prepare some ideas that I don't know if we're gonna do them anyway. So, what else? We've been talking about Varimu compressors. How is it that every 2 weeks we talk about Varimu compressors? I think we've been talking about. Why have we been talking about Varimu? Help me out here. I know James and Marco are here. Hello. Hello, Marco. Hello, James. James maybe is fetching some wine, but he'll be back. But help me out. We were talking about Varimu compressors? No. Oh, mix bus things? Maybe the first. Oh, maybe we were talking about the manly Varimu again and again and again. Punch his beard off. And then SSL stuff probably. And what to use, what not to use. And I think somebody said, I like to use Tuco in place of the manly Varimu emulations. And I said, Tuco is an amazing compressor and it certainly could do that. I usually have that C671, and so I said we should try. Then Gary, which is not here, I think, yet, maybe he'll be here later, said that he was gonna try Tico, which is Matthew Lane's product. Okay, Matthew's been doing amazing stuff. Dr. RMS, DRMS is just an insane plugin, very complicated sometimes to use. And then James actually said it would be awesome to use, what was it? MJUC, right? Which doesn't exist in terms of demos. It actually exists just as the junior version. And as a junior version, it's got less controls, but there's no demo. So you gotta buy it if you wanna use it. It's not expensive, but you gotta buy it. I don't have it. We're gonna use the junior and that's it. All right. So I've been also installing the Mini Brute 5, which is cool. And we can try that. And I had a couple patches that I wanted to replicate from not memory, but like things I'd done on sort of the real things. Why did you say SSL? Well, you said SSL because after that there's an EQ and then there's an SSL. And maybe you weren't here yesterday on Discord. Martin and I were trying out to do streams on Discord, and he keeps hearing things in mono, and I keep seeing it as broadcasted in stereo. We still haven't solved it, but I was trying out different SSLs, and for some reason it hasn't quite worked out with the glue, which I loved, but it's kind of heavy on the landing down on the mix. So there might be things I want to do differently. Then I've been doing stuff. We opened the same project as before, and not composing wise, but I've been backupping my computer as I do every month, and I've been just taking a look at what is in this Windows installation. Did you know that this Windows installation comes from third quarter or third quarter 2019. So I would safely say that I have never installed anything, like reinstalled the operating system since probably maybe November 2019. Okay, and I've been making 3 records, music for everybody, courses, curses as well. and masterclasses, workshops, videos, stuff. So if it exploded, this is not about jinxing it. If it explodes, it's like, you know, what do you want? But saying that Windows is unstable, well, it might I might be jinxing it. Knock on wood. So I've taken a look at the stuff that is like leftovers, and there's things, people, that are unbelievable. All right, here we go. no, yes, no, do it. There's stuff that is, you know, there from end of 2019 and just leftovers from previous installations, things, weirdnesses and stuff. I've taken a look at it, kind of probably maybe optimized stuff. Hello, James. And I hope I've optimized stuff, because you never want to do this while you have, I don't know, streams or things like that. Absolutely not. But I do have a couple. Let me check that this is actually working. Yes, this is gonna send you audio and all that stuff. Beautiful, awesome. Okay, so let's run a test to just verify that you hear the things that we want to hear. So drums. Right, okay. Remember, we're here to make the music your sound card would want to make when your computer is 100% CPU usage, okay? That's the style. I came up with this with Marco, and it's now, it's gotta be one of the best jokes I've ever made of my own music. And, the reason why I told Marco, I'm gonna say it first so you hear it from me, so that when the record comes out or whatever I do, you know, end of this year, and people say it, you go like, no, he said it first about himself, you know, self-awareness. So, oh gosh. All right, so what have I been doing? I've been doing weird things to my Windows, like a couple tweaks. They might work, they might not work. Nobody cares. It's about latency monitoring and all that stuff. If you're a Windows geek like I am, it's enjoyable. If you're a normal person, it's the most horrible things to do, past staying late after church on Sundays with your family, which is probably worse. But anyway, when you're a kid, of course. When you're a grown up, maybe there's free food, you know, you want to take your chances sometimes. But I've also, we don't care about what I've done on the system, okay? What we want to take a look at actually is things I've learned about Bitwig, okay? So let me move this dude over here and we'll clear it up. Just give me a sec here, right on, okay? Awesomeness. All right, so chat, boom, okay. So, for the past, week, I've been experimenting with Bitwig, you know that, and I've been optimizing things. And in our last streams, we took a look at like kind of technical stuff, but also workflow tips or nuggets or whatever, you know, that could help you, because that's the main sort of the leitmotif of the whole stream series. Avoid writer's block, improve how you compose, get ideas for things you want to do, see how I do it, get ideas for how you want to do it, see how I do it so you don't do it because it's a horrible choice maybe. Or maybe you get something, you copy paste it, it works for you. Until you get bored, you develop your own thing. But composing, creating, having ideas and things. A lot of this stuff, which is the fun of these streams, correct me if I'm wrong, is that there's a technical aspect of things that actually make it enjoyable or better somehow, right? Like setting up things and templates, and I've talked about effects, which you can clearly see I have here, you know, and we've been talking about routing stuff and optimizing plugins. So in this week that I've been tweaking things around, I've come up with a couple, not a list, but I have a couple pins of things that I would like to discuss, while we're also gonna discuss plugins, because we always do that. I think I want to try the mini brute as well. It's just about having fun. If you're here thinking it's a masterclass and you're like super tight and like sitting on your chair like this, not slouching, not drinking, you know, deplorable beverages, you're kind of doing it wrong, you know. Responsibly being here is one thing, but like being super, you know, uptight is another one. No, we don't do this stuff to feel scared or like, you know, oh my God, he's gonna talk about harmony and theory. Run, you know, click on that other stream. Let's go. You know, you can control W will always do that. So you're in the train, awesome. So people are looking at Marcos like, what? Where are these young people going to go? Look at what this guy is doing in his life. No wonder the world's going where it's going. What are all those knobs? What's that guy saying that's moving his hands all day? So, things I've learned about Bitwig in general, okay? So I was reaching out to my kind of 50% CPU usage, which is probably here or here. Where is it? Well, okay, here, if you click on that CPU performance graph, you have a super nice and resizable thing you can keep everywhere. It's like a tiny companion of frustration, you know? It's like a memento mori kind of thing. It will tell you that your CPU is gonna die eventually, right? But I'm gonna keep it here because it's just, you know, it's there. I'll probably never gonna reach out to there. If I Alt and Tab, then, you know, it doesn't bother us, right? It's almost like a different pane that stays there. If we do this, obviously now there's my face in the middle, but it doesn't quite matter. There's a lot of stuff. There's devices, there's the blocks, the sample rate, the deadline, the load and average, the load maximum, the period jitter, the audio latency, the audio output latency, and the timing. I don't even know why I'm listing this stuff because I have no idea what this stuff does except for blocks, sample rate, that's it. Oh, okay, maybe audio output latency? I don't even know. Okay, but it's nice, it's smooth, it flows from right to left, and it's probably simulating how hard my computer is at, you know, load at right now. Now, if I press play here now on the full track, okay, it is clicking. Now, when I'm not streaming, actually this doesn't happen, okay? So I was just doing it a couple seconds before, and it was kind of helping out. But there's one thing I've discovered that you can kind of do easily, and that the plugin things from within Bitwig to individually, I've been keeping in individually, and I gotta be honest with you, I don't see a lot of increase in these. It's safest, it should use most memory, but I think it's about the RAM thing, not about your CPU usage, which is probably the same. Actually, could even be that because the processes are spread across your plugins and cores, individually uses more RAM, but is more CPU efficient. I have no idea if this is the case, but just to say that you don't go to within Bitwig and things instantly just sound awesome, and they don't click any longer, right? The easiest thing to do just to avoid these is to step it up in terms of buffer size, obviously. But I found it kind of weird that my load here is at 50% and the other stuff is actually, I mean, the computer is whatever, it's not loaded with stuff, but I am recording this stream, I am streaming it to you. There's probably some load that is coming from the stream itself. So when I do this and we're playing stuff, it would be safer for me to go in my audio card and go here and go buffer size and go maybe 1024, right? But when I compose here in itself, it is not crackling out, okay? However, sometimes it would do it, or I found out that there's a thing in Bitwig that is, people are not complaining, but Bitwig is known to not have the most squeezable resources management ever, okay? And James says there's always a difference between machine CPU and dull CPU because of the threading cores. That's true. So I think what we're seeing here is kind of the DAW DSP performance graph probably DAW oriented, and what is the computer in itself, we should do it like this probably, right? Like performance graph and see it here. And now my computer is kind of, it looks higher than what is going on here. I think these can stay on top. Maybe always on top. Perfect. So this thing, I remember you could even make it dark for some reason. Anyway, now you see it. That's CPU and that's the performance graph. If I press play now, let's try that. It's not 100%, but it's obviously raising about here, and we're approaching 90. So to think that these would not probably collapse somehow, that's the reason. Like it's higher what we see here than what we see in Bitwig. So that's one thing. Obviously, we double the buffer size, we get a lot more leeway because of that, right? Maybe I should, I don't know, I could probably go in the BIOS, disable C states, and probably turn off the virtualization. Probably there's a couple things I could do to just let the cores maybe run a little bit better. But this is the situation which I'm streaming, recording to disk in H.265 or 4, whatever, using processes. There's a lot of effects and stuff, and real time, and I'm looking at my preview as well, which I could probably like turn off the preview in my software and just maybe it's better. We don't know. It gets a little bit more leeway, but just to say that. Now there's no function on. So there's no way to globally disable one cool function that plugins in Bitwig have. And if you select a plugin, double click it. I'm gonna take the performance graph out because we don't really need it. You see here there's a suspend, and there's trust plugin, which is my default, should probably be the default, when silent, and never. Okay, I have noticed that going never is often better than going trust plugin. So when I wasn't streaming and I had occasionally a couple glitches and things, I found out that there might be a plugin then you can remember that does not like going to, in suspension. So I usually tried moving this to never. And because I'm talking about a template, what I like is that being a template, you can do these for all of your stuff. For example, RSFX DZ, right? You select it here, it's a Reason plugin, and you go like suspend never. Easy peasy. Now, it has to be done per plugin. That's the thing. You can't do it per category, per manufacturer. There's no, hey Martin, hello, welcome, well met. You can't do it per section or globally. This is a thing maybe I would like Bitwig to have, like how to treat the default in Bitwig. Like when I load a plugin, does it have to suspend all the time? Does it have to be trusted or never? And maybe per plugin, like say, I don't know, whatever, universal audio plugins, I don't want to suspend, because maybe usually if it's a plugin, if you find a plugin you don't want to suspend to have it more efficient, probably it's a manufacturer thing. Like all of the manufacturers' products don't like suspending, being suspended, hibernated, whatever. So you could say, okay, whenever it's these manufacturers, take them all, select them all, list, boom, go, don't suspend, okay? So I've been doing this for a little bit, and where have I done it? I've done it on tracks that I know for sure will get audio. This is my thinking, and I don't know if that's correct or not. But for example, a mix bus, right? So here I was trying Tuco, then we got the 6030, the Sontec, the Glue, Good Math, MBQ. Then there's my second mix bus, which is completely disabled, should be completely disabled here. And then there's the Mac DSP limiter here, right? So you go suspend never, you go MBQ, suspend never, like all of these things are my mix bus. So I was thinking, because it's my mix bus, it doesn't really, see for example Tuco, I would go never, because things will always pass by that bus. So I don't want it to be suspended, even for printing's sake. probably I wouldn't do it, you know. So I'm going here, never, the Soundtech never, and it's enabled. Tuco here. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to try some stuff around, and I think here we could try and take probably Tuco out of here, like before my actual mix bus, and maybe the 6030. That's my reference point, so that we know the glue I actually want to remove. And we're gonna first design the replacement for the SSL bus compressor, okay, which is also taking me to another subtopic, which is still interesting. So we're gonna keep Tuco. I'm gonna disable it. I'm gonna keep the 6030. I'm gonna disable that as well. My mix bus here, Soundtech, Good Math, MBQ. Let's replace the plugin I had here. Let's see what kind of buffer size. Let's see if, for example, anything changed about that. And also the buses I haven't done. So for example, the orchestral stuff, Trust plugin, no, never. The Manly by UAD, never. All of the plugins on buses, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do it together because it's a lot of fun. It's actually excruciating, but we're doing it. Also, something else that is kind of heavy is Reason Rack plugins for two reasons. The number one is me. I do pretty complicated chains. Hold on, replace the SSL. Oh, replace the SSL with another SSL. James, right? What? You're gonna replace the SSL? Never. No. We're gonna place another SSL. Just because the glue for me, I like it, but there's a... If I feather touch it, I like it, but I gotta be honest, it kind of oomphs a little bit too much in auto release. It's a very, very nice auto release, but it's silver lining things a little bit more. So don't tease me with the Sat. Martin was here yesterday when we were trying the Satson, and well, I don't know. Maybe. I'm to demonstrate a concept. I will probably use another plugin that. No, but no, you all have probably right now. So the basses, beats, drums, grooves, basses. Why do I think basses I haven't done it? Pro C, filter bank. I don't know who, maybe you weren't all here, you four, in the back of the room, the four guys in the class always make noise. It's like, what's going on down there? All right. You four, I don't know if you were all here, if you were maybe spending time in Venice Beach last week on Friday, but I talked about something very important. If you remember, I had on my buses a -6 trim. You remember that? For example, on the drums, I had this tool here, and a live preview of, I don't need live preview, it was this guy, and I just had it on -6 right here, right? Sitting there, because I usually keep my buses at -6, is I have kind of the prior knowledge that I want to stay lower. And to do that and fear the not using a -6, I keep my monitoring fairly loud in the room, so that when I approach -14 LUFS, in composing mixing scenarios, it's kind of not too loud, but if I were to kind of touch -12 or -10, it would be excruciatingly loud. Not excruciatingly loud, but loud, okay? Like it would feel you don't want it louder than that. And that's because I will probably push to -10 and then print it, you know, in the loudest parts. So I want the -10 to really feel like, oh gosh, this is getting so loud, I hope it doesn't happen. Also because I like to hear the low dynamics better, and because I like dynamics, if I keep my monitoring on the loudest parts at a quiet, moderate levels, the lowest dynamics, I'm gonna go, what? And you don't wanna go, what? When you're composing, because you might be playing a lot of wrong notes that sound fantastic until you hear it at a right volume. So I was trimming down -6. That's the story of my life, just to explain a -6 tool. It's typical Alberto stuff, right? I took it like a little bit of a digression. But tool, I took it out. Why did I take out the tool? Because I was filtering applying filtering, especially high passing, the different drums and grooves and basses. We were trying stuff, especially for the synths. So because filter bank that I was using has an input and output knob pair, I just replaced tool with filter bank, applied the typical -6, but also sometimes, for example, like on the synths, applied just a straight 12 dB per octave, 100 hertz filter, okay? You could go 6 sometimes, and I've done 6 because I like kind of the stereo content to be a little bit more permissive, but then I will probably cut some of the side content on the master or the mix bus that I'm doing on linear phase plugins that I like DQ Orange, on the side content, and then I will do that later anyway. So the question came of like, why do you do it if you want to do it afterwards? Well, because my mix bus is not going to react the same if I just not filter anything and send a lot of garbage to it, especially because things are hitting fairly hard, so I don't want to do that, okay? As easy as that. So we've been optimizing. You see, there's no tools any longer. Beats, drums, grooves, basses, synths all start with filter bank. And it's kind of an intro to what I want to do when we talk about not replacing, but see, for example, my effects track, the old effects, all of my reverbs, delays stuff, they got the 100 hertz, 12 dB per octave high pass. Sometimes I also like this. Just keep it at the very end, 20K, boom, and shave it a tiny little bit. You know, F202 on buses, says James, always correct. You're right. I mean, you don't want to just filter. Some people say high pass everything. They're famous people, so you should trust them. I don't high pass everything. And you'd be surprised, a lot of masters I've done for some specific genres, especially when I was in Berlin, had no high pass. Maybe that's the reason why I am where I am. I'm so sorry about it, but I don't do it. However, it is beneficial to do that. And also we said the filters on Filters Bank have that, they have nothing really, but it's a good plugin anyway. So now we pitch the real concept, okay? All of a sudden we're driving and I turn right and we all go somewhere else. I am in need, let's say in need, I really want to replace that SSL compressor, okay? So we could look at all of the SSL compressors I have in my life. However, I'm going to say something that is a lot more practical than it sounds, but trust me, it goes a long way when you're composing. We are gonna keep the 6030 because the 6030 is the Vari-Mu that goes first and everything is there, and then we go through the Soundtech, and then here was SSL compressor. You know what I'm gonna do and set it up and probably live with it? Easy peasy, compressor bank. And people go like, I knew he was gonna do that. I'm gonna pick the 303 so we have the most options. And we're gonna set an SSL bus compressor here, the way I kinda like to wing it, okay? Which comp do you have set up with the 5030? This one, right, no worries. Ask away if you see a plugin and you don't see the interface, because I'm gonna open it up for you. So the 6030 is one of the iterations of Mac DSP's module plugins, right? And they got, I don't really remember all the names. Got a 6030, 6040, 30 should be compressors, correct me if I'm wrong, 40 should be EQs, and then there's a 50 which has tons of modules, and the 6060 which has the most modules. So you could load these into a 6060. Why have I done it on a 6030? Because I just need the C671, okay? And exactly, like they make, 6030, I think 40, and then, which is just got compressors, EQs, and then lots of modules, the 6050 that I've used for years. And then they made the 6060 and I just swapped for the 6060, which has a little bit more, right? So the 6050 is the multi-band, not 100%. Let's look it up because I don't remember. So 6040 doesn't exist. Okay, 6030 ultimate comp, 6020 ultimate EQ. Okay, so the collections of EQs is on the 6020. 6030 is the compressors. 40 doesn't exist. Alberto just completely made it up. Colin, take that. I know names nobody knows because they don't exist. 6050 ultimate channel strip, and a 60 is the ultimate module collection. That's how it's called. Okay, I still recover. Now the 34 is the ultimate multiband, which is an insanely cool plugin, but I don't think there's a 4. Okay, so 3, 4, 5. Okay, you like the way the way I look for plugins. So I use this one and I really like it. Now there's in the past, I've done something different. I haven't used just the 6030. I've used at the time the 6050. And I've done, I mean, the numbers, I say compressor bank and then there's 3 versions of it. So a lot of the time in around 2020, 2021, I think around 2020, what I've done is this. I've done compressor for target 1 and I've picked what I have here, right? So 6671. The target 2, well, you see, it's kind of a little bit more of a limited situation, right? It's got only 3 modules. So that's okay. That's what I've done. I've run a lot of the times in 2020-ish this thing. End of 2019 for the whole year, probably, yes, I've done that. So, this one is at what? I don't even remember. Does it show? Ah, it doesn't show. All right. So, okay, we keep it here. Fantastic. That's the same thing. Gain is probably around there. Well, no, I had a little bit of a bump. Awesome. And then minus 24. Gain. Okay, no, well, this has to be 0. Right? Gain is what? Should be this one. And then kind of a 2.5. That's how I remember it. 8 to 9, and then I go sort of like a constant that's like 2.5 or something. But what I like to do is I take the highs and I go at around 550, 5.3, something like it, 5.6, 5.5. 5.3, I don't know, maybe I have a preset and we could take a look. And then I go like 0.4, all right? Why do I do that? Because the Varimuse I kind of have in my head, except for the, well, no, actually the comp one as well does it. They always have a little bit of a, kind of a little bit of a push towards the, the high frequencies. They have kind of a little bit of a vibe. So I used to run this rather than the 6030 here. The thing is that if I want a sidechain with the 6050, then I have to run kind of an external sidechain on it. So we could run a 6020 right after, so I see I'm pretty busy. I try and carb Ethan as much as I want, but for some reason, I don't know why he keeps talking that much. I have an idea because he's is born from the mastermind of, I have really no idea. Like, what is going on with you? Right. Oh, I see that. Okay, I found it. I found the guts of my, what is it, 0? 30? I don't know, let's do that. Let's do that. So there's, okay. Hold on. There's a timer thing I had completely not found. He's like the one guy that says like, is anybody hungry? No, thank you very much. All right, people, all good. Keep doing what you're doing. That's awesome. Bye. See you later. Tut knock. Folks, is anybody hungry now? No, we're not. All right, so I might have done it. Okay, hold on. I don't know. Have I done it? Yeah? No? Yeah? Moments of tension. I have tamed the Ethan. I think. I don't know. It's a pretty reliable unit, if you know. He's fine. If you know the storyline from Infinite Warfare, Ethan's kind of a very, very good guy. Actually saves the life of the main character you're playing. So, but I'm digressing as usual. So we could take a 60-30 and put it before the 20, so we instantiate kind of a 20 thing here instead of using this dude. We should probably do that for reasons being that I can go boop and instantiate just that, okay? So let's do it. Again, we don't have a flow here. 60-20. So we go from one to the other. Obviously, this one doesn't have sidechain. We go just straight. Oh, see how there's no readouts? Isn't it awesome? You can't really move that. I'm just gonna give it boom, just so we hear it over YouTube, like a couple bit of a nudge, halfway between 5 and 6. And maybe for this genre, I should kind of bump it to 6 and change, but let's do that. Kind of like that. And all the modules are available in the 60-60. Yes, absolutely. From the 30 and 20 and more, like the 60 has tape emulators, gates expanders, saturations. Yeah, it's taken from the 50 that was just back then, but then they added more module slots, side chaining, all that stuff, and they kept updating. So the 60 is like the flagship thing. I'm not sure if you have a sidechain high pass filter within the 60. Let's check that. I don't usually sidechain with the modules. I think I'm used to the Mac DSP's plugins at the time not having it. No, I think, hold on. I think you do. If we go here, we go comp. You've got you got external key. That's how it is. So there's, it's practical. And I like that, just to keep the VariMu thing here. Why am I sidechaining on the 671 now more than ever? Just because I've learned that, there's like the VariMu from Manly, a lot of people had it modded, or the mod wasn't available back then. They started modding it because people were requesting a sidechain filter because it was too sensitive to low frequency content. And it became a thing. I don't remember how it's called. It's a T-mod, probably something like they use a diode to kind of just filter lows. It's a fixed, I don't know, 170 hertz, 100 hertz. Some people say 80. I don't think it's a 12. I think it might be a Butterworth Bessel filter. I don't know. But it filters from at around 60 things. So this one has it. So now we have the 20 as well, which is doing work for us. And that's cool. So the other thing we're going to do is set compressor back. Okay. So Ethan, Ethan, I just said that, but hopefully, maybe it didn't work. We pretended, and then he came back from the window. So I'm gonna press play. Well, let's see if we are kind of where we were before. Let me do just I don't have presets here. Can I load presets from here? No, right? No. Does it find presets of sorts? Nope. Because Mac DSP doesn't have the internal one. So I think I've saved it in Nuendo. So what I want to do is have these here, pre-filter, probably, the pre-filter on, and I want it at, let's do 70 hertz. Actually, no, this is the SSL. What am I doing? Let's do the typical, I do usually 22 hertz. Q, no idea. Let's keep it here at 1.41. And then I do a kind of a weird thing. I usually do like 3000. And then we go like, yes, the Q maybe even like wider, 0.40, 51-ish, dynamic EQ, and we go +6, 0.6 or 0.8 or something. Martin says, sorry to be off topic again. Have you heard about the Warm Audio WA19 dynamic mic? Nope, I haven't. So there are coming up a lot of people with microphones, right? Even UA has done like these modeling microphones. Microphones are kind of coming back up. They're the new tape emulators. So people need to, I think the microphone world has gone to redesigning itself from very expensive to very practical, and people want to emulate them a lot. So this could be the case. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep everything where it is. We're going to double check that my 60-30 is just ever so slightly moving at around 1 dB in this louder part. And we are going to set, let me see, well, the byte 1, the knee, I think I need kind of a 1.5 or something. The comp 4, attack 3, release doesn't quite matter because I'm gonna go auto. So what is this doing? This is kind of a normal settings for a 4:1 3 milliseconds auto release, but it's sort of filtering 22 hertz extremes, lows, and then it's kind of dynamically moving the 3300 hertz just to give me a little bit more edge. I might need to move it up, but let's see how it works. First and foremost, if everything starts distorting, then what we're going to do is I'm going to bump up the buffer size, and then we're going to play it with 124. Let's try that first. Oh yes, definitely. So the threshold is really, really loud, really low. So obviously the volume was low. Let's try it again. Right, so this is preventing me from hearing how things should be, right? So what we're gonna do is we go here and we go 124. Now, when you switch buffer size, everything in the world will get reassigned. But because I'm sandboxing everything, there's tons of processes that will get deleted and restarted. So let's see how it's populating itself. I don't know how much it will take, I don't know. Copy paste from their page, it says the WA19, the dynamic mic from Warm Audio, delivers a unique combination of dynamic microphone functionality and condenser-like clarity, reviving one of the most favored studio and live dynamics of the 60s. Ooh, okay. So it's kind of a vintage kind of vibe thing. How expensive is that? How did they, because Warm Audio is kind of competitive priced. You know, some people say it doesn't have the most mojo ever, but they make stuff that people, okay, $219, all right, so. I remember a teacher of mine in LA said, I mean, a guy stops him on the hallway and says, you know, oh, can I have a word with you? And like, I found this mic and it was kind of a good mic. I don't remember if it was a Shure SM7 something. And it's like for, you know, $100, it's a good deal. You know, just, you know, what do you think it sounds like? And he said, for that price, if it turns on and it works, just what do you care about the sound? You know, once you have $100 put into a device that captures vibrations in the air to put it into current and then into your digital audio interface, whatever, you know, it makes kind of sense. So I don't really know if we carved these dude. Did we do it somehow? I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that, oh, look at that. It didn't. Oh, I know why. I haven't. Have I saved that? Okay, hold on. Now it worked. Okay. We did it, people. I am kind of like 100% sure. So, all right. What is this? YouTube is not receiving enough video. Whoa, no, it is. Are we back? Yes, probably. I'm recording everything, so it doesn't matter. We're safe. So, pressing play, let's hear it. All right, I want to be here. All right, good. I hear it. I don't know if you can see me. Do we see each other? Am I on? Am I off? Am I anywhere? Give me a sign of life. Am I? Oh, well, but you know, well, I think we should be back. I don't know. Am I? Am I not? Let me go move it here. Am I? No. All right, right? Not a video to maintain smooth streaming, various pairing buffering. Nah, all good. All good. Come on. I think it was the buffer getting basically what we had is because the computer was kind of reassessing things around. We had that. Yeah. I saw that as well. All right, doesn't matter. So good news is we're not crapping out any longer. So we can now try the compressor bank. All right, so what we want to do is get around these kind of 3 dBs, this tiny little line that has no reference, all the things that seem unimportant in Mac DSP metering stuff, it's calling, hinting at you secret stuff. So I kind of like this -3. I don't know, maybe I'm making a big deal out of it. Now, 3 dB's default should be that. Let me save, just because, and let's go. We're pumping up a lot of gain up, but usually, I mean, for the chain itself, I don't want to say I have to have it, but let me see where we are here, because I also see kind of peaking out, so maybe we need to offset these. The compressor should kind of go at a little bit of like the one thing. You hear what it does when I'm dynamically pumping up? When it's compressing, it's pushing that frequency right there, right? I really like the 6 point something because it's injecting side content into my ears. So this one I like a lot, and you know what? This will probably stay here. I don't see any reason why. This thing, a little bit of bite to let the transients go, a little bit of knee. Sometimes it's taking care of things around. Maybe the 3 of a plugin that wants to emulate a 3 of an SSL is usually faster. Or the real SSL is kind of slower than the number you see. It's a little bit, it's hinting at it. So I like that. I think if we listen to it, we can listen to this, right? Right, so you could even go very, very high here. I think we're a little bit too strong. Let's try and do something else I like to do a lot. To keep it around like 400 hertz. This is a lot, like a lot, okay? But if we go low Q, we're also carving a lot more up and down, and it's kind of a different compressor altogether. Man, this is perfect. You hear how noisy that is? Let's try that without the listen. I'll go pre-filter off and on, then we'll probably, we have to reassess the threshold. Yeah, I like this, but not with this setting. This is really, it's really insane how you write music with kind of an expected processing chain somehow. I don't, like, you don't do it as a composer, but the more you compose and produce your own stuff, you kind of nudge yourself into a series of cause and effects. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, you can't change the timeline to jump into a different record. And for how weird that is, if I do this pre-filtering that high, it needs to be a different kind of arrangement to do that. And so for me, I kind of already knew what was gonna happen, but I wouldn't have not liked it. The lows are really breathing a lot. So, because I haven't saved this, let's do 22. I actually think that 0.51 could be cool, because I remember I had it that way. 0.4, that's fine. Maybe 3.24. Just making numbers up to appear like I'm doing stuff. When do you add a compressor on a mix bus? When you're mostly done with arrangement? No. Excellent question, because that one comes up all the time. When I compose, I write into this mix bus. Right. So I have a template that I study in terms of a pre-production. We were talking about that with Mike and James as well now a lot of maybe months ago. Pre-production for me is super important. I have to be light, not stressed, just sitting down, knowing what project I have confirmed I will do, and try and set the sounds that I kind of think are appropriate, and then I need to know the effects and the mix bus as well. Yeah, I do that. Aren't you afraid that you push the comp too much when you're working on other stuff? No, because usually I look at it again, but to me, if the 671 doesn't hit over 1 dB of gain reduction, we're good, because that one's the first dude, so it's like the alarm, right? If it's a flag for me, if I see crunch down, then yes, you know. But usually if I stay, it's kind of hard to explain because I don't look at gains and stuff, but because my monitoring is set always at the same level, and I know how the final loudness, as I said, is kind of minus 10 LUFS, it's getting kind of loud. Usually the sounds that are prominent approaching minus 10 might be the percussion, and if the percussion is set to be that loud and hit me, and the other sounds are kind of mixed, does it make sense what I'm saying, to the music, they will always kind of end up pretty much around a level that the 6030 is doing kind of 1 dB, right? And in a way, I am composing sounds, I'm composing instruments also a little bit like thinking what kind of frequencies and vibe I'm adding. And so because of that, I'm kind of choosing instruments based on a little bit of a frequency texture, not like an engineer, I'm still a composer. So if a sound is spiking and I like it, I don't care to predict that it will need fixing. I don't want to do that, you know, because I am composer, engineer, mastering engineer maybe as well. And you could think, well, when do I do this fix? Do I do it now? Do I wait? You know, and the right of way for me is composer. Composer always wins. Composer is the one that wins. And within composer, not arranger, composer. So if I start with an idea and it's got the most weird sound ever, composer wins. Arranger comes second already. So if a sound is super cool, and the arranger says, well, yes, but with the reference we have, it would be nice to put strings. Shut up. We're not doing strings this time. We're just keeping that. And then the mixing engineer comes third, and the mastering engineer doesn't even come in. You know, sometimes I don't have to master my own stuff, but if I do, I want it to be later on. So it's weird, but it kind of falls into place, and it never, if I compose, I rarely go to the 671 and see it be pinned at minus 10. If that happened, it's probably because I've been writing music with the monitoring wrong. So low. If I lower the monitoring because, you know, I don't want to stress my ears too much, and I go look at the mix bus, yes, then it's probably pushing, you know. The problem is sometimes you really like what's happening, and you start questioning yourself like, what now? Because I have 3 songs and the 4th one is pushing against the compressor. It's gotta be wrong. And that there's no answer to that. When you're facing your own demon that way, it's kind of hard, you know. You're thinking, it's wrong, it's surely wrong. Can't be right, fix it. And then you fix that needle, it sounds like crap, fix it. And it's like, okay, let's move out to another song, and that's the worst mistake you can make. Just, you know. That's why probably I like to do pre-production, so that I know the groove of it. So we're kind of done. We're good. I'll keep this. There's a lot of badassness in the compressor bank. So it's doing a lot more than, I don't want to say it should, but maybe an SSL would be a little bit more floaty somehow. But I like that. You know what as well? The latency on this thing is nothing at all, like 0 at all. So this is also really nice CPU wise. How about the 6020, which I don't think we need to, let me put it on. Oh, it's sleeping, huh? Don't sleep. Trust plugin, don't sleep. I think I'm gonna do that. Okay, here. So this is let's try off and on. Okay, I'm really tempted to put it on now because I've heard the references that I was given for these songs I'm writing, and I'm hearing that just like aggression factor. So let's try it off and then on again. Really tempted. I'm gonna keep it. Trust plugin, no, never. So what is it? A dB maybe? But then remember, it's going into the Soundtech, it's going into the compressor bank. Okay, so the compressor is probably the one thing that is redesigning things, and I'm pushing kind of a lot. The 1 dB is kind of a lot. So this is the order we're doing things. Compressor, E670, going. At this point, would it be better to move it to the 6060? So it's one single plugin? Probably yes. Or the 6050, which is the single thing? Probably yes. I could do that. But will it sound the same? Not ever, because this one doesn't have readouts. Does not have readouts. So I would need to kind of do screenshots and kind of wing it until the number here is correct. Or, oh, you know what? Bitwig to the rescue, maybe. Hold on. Bitwig to the rescue. See what is here? I'm so stoked. I mean, I was completely missing this. Look at what every plugin has an interface, right? But also has numerical parameters that are non-graphical. They're just a list. It seems to me that, but this is kind of weird, huh? That we got 51. Maybe I can duplicate these on the 6050 and get it exactly the same, for module. I could do that. I don't know. Will it sound better? Maybe not, because it's just different. We'll like what it is here. So now I'm gonna move the EQ in here just before the Soundtech, just because we say that's how we like it. And then I'm going to, see, we could close these. We don't need to assess this guy any longer. But we were talking about Varimuse, right? So Varimuse is, I think, who was it? Gary said Tico, which I've never tried for some reason. Tico, I have a demo now. So what is this? VST2, VST3, Tico. Looks super nice, and also Matthew Lane is insanely good at making plugins and stuff. So this could be nice. 6030 Ultimate Compressor. Okay, so we got Tuco, we got Tico, we got the 6030, which is our standard. And there was James said Muke. James, the controls on that Bitwig provide really, the controls that Bitwig provides really make you listen, even to plugins you're experienced with, because they remove the familiar UI. That's true. And also having those parameters is insane because of the modulators. So now it's a mix bus plugin, okay? But if it's some kind of effect and stuff, it's so easy to just access them. And it's 0, 50, 100. You no longer see 2000 to 100 hertz, 54. So you want to see that, you go in the UI, right? But that one's kind of generic, sort of like the leeway, the travel of the knob. And it's kind of cool. So let's do this. Boom. Klanghelm. All right. I never tried it as well. I still have Dr. RMS, which is absolutely awesome. I told, I think it was Namsho or something, I told Matthew, I have ruined so many mixes with the RMS. And I was like, it's so good, I've ruined so many mixes. And it was like, I remember he said, like, did you print them? Or you kind of waited, like, did you send them? I was like, no, like, I ruined mixes, then I learned how to use it because I was kind of overdoing it. DRMS, Dr. MS, it's just, you gotta, like, super feather touch goes a long way, and you get some of, like, kind of translating mixes with that one can be a lifesaver thing, yeah, but you gotta be super careful because you get used to it and you want to do stuff, and then it's like, nope, doesn't work. But it's not the plugin, it's that it can really break, dissect, kind of the mid from the side and delay it. And I remember doing tons of things and then trying the next day. I was like, oh God, why does it sound so weird? I was checking phase and things, and it was just that one. So these ones we do have. Then we have Tuco. We should make names. Name Tuco. Okay, so we got Tico. We got how they order. Tuco, Tico. If I keep saying the wrong names, they will stick to my head. So, and Master MJ, Muke JR. But we also have the classic here. Pop it up. All right. So this is the 4 guys, right? So we're not going to trust plugins. We're not going to trust plugins. We're not going to trust anybody. It's a dangerous world. We don't want to trust plugins. The last thing we want to trust is plugins. So don't trust plugins. Global setting. Most of the time, says Martin, I only do like 127% on the side wider and pull like 0.5 and that's it. And also HPF around 150. That's true. Like 127 is already kind of extreme. But again, if you're mixing into it and you tend to kind of reassess things a little bit. I mean, up to 130, it's about what? It's probably about a good 4 dBs, 4.5 on the side content. So, you know, a delta between mid and side of more than 3 dBs. But it works. I mean, especially if you don't have a lot of compression on the side content, you just push it, it kind of breathes around. Yeah, I've done it. I think I've done sometimes even about 6 dBs, which is like 150 or it depends. Some plugins call 200% 6+6, others do 150. It doesn't matter, you know, but just 6 dBs up, it's twice as much the side content you had. So that's a ton. And as a mastering engineer, you do that. People are like, you know, calling the police and stuff. It's all those weird things. So let's try the 60-30 first. All right, beautiful, awesome sound, BAFTA award soundtrack. We know that, right? But what if we want to make it even better, win more awards, you know, get more super tight, sexy dresses to wear, you know, at the night of the gala? Maybe Tuco does it. So limiters low attack I kind of like. I think 0.9, 11.2, release very slow, 100% wet, sidechain at 76 hertz, drive 0.5, maybe even less. I think this is a little bit, and stereo modern. I don't do stereo vintage. Kind of think stereo modern would probably be, if I had a Manley Mu, I would keep it, which is kind of the thing now at the time, I would keep it linked in this stage. That's why I don't have any issue with the 60-30 being stereo linked. So let's do Tuco. Tuco's not even flinching because I think the amount is a little bit too low. Unbelievable. The 60-30 so far wins for me. It's just the articulation of the whole thing is just better. Again, you know, this is I wrote the music into it, so there is a degree of just there. Let's try compressors low attack, because the release is kind of still fast for my taste, for what it should do. It's kind of an initial limiter. Let's try compressors low attack. Maybe that's better. Okay. I'm here to be completely honest with you. Maybe it sounds better now. Tuco sounds better than the 60-30 for what it's doing. I hear a better sidechain behavior. So maybe I'm sidechaining low. Thankfully for this, we don't know what the numbers are. I could try and just kind of raise the sidechain HPF and go a little bit louder. It's compared to the 6030, Tuco is more ordered somehow. Like the mix is heading there. I had to double check and say, like, do I have two compressors on? Okay. Okay, I don't know. Where should you listen? Where should you look at for? What should you look for? Where should you look at? There's kind of, if you think about left speaker, right speaker, mid speaker, there's like a 33% space between center left, center right. Okay, so we split center left in two, and we split center right in two. Okay, so imagine center, left, right, then we split the pie in between the two halves. Okay, now imagine splitting it again between the center and the very first slices. I like what Tuco is doing, but when I start looking at the contour of the mid channels, and remember, my beats are 100% mono, right? They come for an inheritance from like Electron Mono Machine and this stuff. It's just like center. The effects are stereo, but the kicks, if you mute the mid channel, you will lose all of those straight kicks. The 25%, not even, like 12.5% that goes from center to left and center to right has a little bit more of a moving air around it. Tuco is beautiful for another reason. So I would say now it's a matter of discussion. I kind of like both. Tuco is more everybody up to you, and it's a cleaner field of view from the whole thing. The breathing is more it's not permissive, but it's almost eliminated. Like it's taking single elements and it's kind of nudging them so that they stay in place and they float there. Maybe it's the slow release, maybe, you know, you could change things so much, but I think it is more exciting though, absolutely. Like that movement that the 6030 has, you know, it's more there. But I will save this preset because, save update current preset. Because to me, this is the preset that has, you know, I've been making the sky warmer sound. That's how I call it whenever, for this new project, it's a mixed bus thing, or the signature of these, it's kind of sky warmer. I don't know, I came up with this one because I don't know. Yeah, well, there might be a reason for it, but it's not related to anything, you might think movie series and that stuff. So I give it that name and I go like, oh, I remember that project, you know, sometimes give it another, it's not the name of a record or anything like that. So nice, okay. But Tico has tightness, contour, and you can flip with these mysterious button. I had to read the manual. You can flip contour and tightness together. So the process is, and gain. So it's got titanium, gentle, bold, smash, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, and cobalt, coair, firewood, carbon, rhodium, mercury. James says, and Muke is going to struggle because the JR version doesn't have, yeah, exactly. It has, let's just try it how it is. I'll probably try and go auto, maybe slow and stuff. It's got a few things, can bypass, compress, make up, but we'll stay at that one. You know, if the movement's nice, I think we'll hear, for sure we'll hear what he does, for sure. So, tightness, what do we have on? Tycho, okay. I'm gonna move these things until they do something. Okay, so this thing's kind of aggressive. Let me try and move oxygen, hydrogen. I like what it does, but it's maybe the 60-30 twice as much, right? It feels overly exciting things, but again, it's the first time I'm opening it. I don't know. Nice. I mean, the colors are insane. Huh? It's EQing the mix. Let's try hydrogen. Okay, okay. Not bad. I like that. I think that up until I had only tightness on and contour off, it felt over tightened. But I like hydrogen for kind of sounds. But I was hearing the high frequency content kind of not doing what I wanted, and then I turned on the contour and it decompressed the whole thing. I don't know if it makes any sense. Did it feel like it was boom, blooming again? This is nice. Let me try and do a 60-30 versus Tycho. It's brighter somehow. And then again, because I added cobalt. Okay, so let's try wood. Yeah, okay, cobalt wood, carbon, rhodium, let's go mercury. Okay, kind of like this. This is nice. Let's try that. Like I gotta get carried away by the elements I hear. So 60-30. I like what he does. We could stay here and try 3000. What I think it's still the 60-30 is doing what I want, but again, I wrote the music into it, is that the 60-30 is giving me that oppression kind of sound. So it's a negative factor, but it's perfect for the style. It's thickening the air like pollution, but because the movie talks about that, it's nice, you know. It's just it's tough. It's just how it's moving around. Again, I wrote the music into it, so there is this unfairness, okay, because you react to what this mix is doing. So obviously the velocities of the synths, the thing, I mean, everything's been there. So to unbuild it, replace it, you know, it would be a nice surprise, but if I've done my homework, that shouldn't happen. But honest to God, Tuco had it. Like, if the producer's here says like, oh, no, you hear how, much easier to just move around the elements. That's true. But is it oppressive as a 60-30 and detailed and excited? Like, you know, it's not taking you by the shirt, but it's like, you can't get it off your skin, right? It's just there. And that for this style of music, I think it's more appropriate. Let's try Muke. Let's see what it's pretty hard to beat the 60-30. Yeah, it's a nice, I mean, yeah. And again, I wrote music into it. If you write it into Tico and then you try the 60-30, easy, especially for how tone contouring this is, you will need to probably even re-EQ stuff or get a compressor that by accident is doing the excitement of these. Let's try the Muke, because I'm excited about this one again. Constants, slow. Let's probably be that. This is nice. This is also very good. I think this one, however, it's the behavior I want is between 0 and 0.5, not 0 and 1. You know, when I hear it, when I see it move less, I'm like, oh yeah, maybe it's because there's no side chain. I don't know. I'm gonna try and go a little bit lower. There, okay, I had to stop. Maybe it's 13.7. I want every kick hit to kind of nudge it, but it's gotta go to 0.5, okay? And just kind of, I think even if it's over YouTube and stuff, when I hit it, you hear it, right? That it's not about who made the best algorithm and stuff. It's just about, is it working for the music? Because there's only one right thing, and it's to all go together in the message the music is sending, you know? And when it does something, it doesn't matter, you know, how right, wrong, blue, red, you know, it's just when it's authentically contributing, it's the effort is what matters. So it's kind of, you know, it's the intention that counts, right? The thought. So this one's sounding cooler. So let me try that now. Okay, not fair now because, I mean, the movement is insanely cool for how it's moving. Klanghelm is really, the Muke is really nice. But again, that 12.5% next to the center with the 60-30 is like obliterated. It's like shooting at you with everything. It's like, you know, they're, as I said, it's, you know, full tactical asset gear pushing at you. There's no way around, you know, it's that moment. You gotta fight for your life. And it's that. The 60-30 is kind of moving you, the side content around, and it's nice. Martin says, the DCHC of Klanghelm is also amazing. I know, I don't have their plugins, but they make really cool stuff and priced like extremely fair. I think the Muke is what, $49, something like that. The full version, this one's even free. So this one could be absolutely awesome on bass, for example, in place of what, the UAD LA2. It's got a different vibe. Maybe it's a little bit old school, but maybe it doesn't have that low edge, but it sounds to me as if it's kind of giving you that nice low shelf bulge. I don't know, feels like, but light somehow, like you can sort of go through it. That's what I mean, not thick enough. Tricky to set up, amazing controls. And tens, yeah, it's the spring reverb, so much depth, comes even close to the Capwise CX20. Yeah, I mean, the whole line is good. Yeah, I mean, here, there's not a lot you can do. It's like mouse drag during mid-speed. You know, I think the slow kind of works nicely. I mean, this is really feeling the way it's moving. So, yeah, this is nice. All of these three things are fine. I think it's completely sort of fine-tuned into the behavior of what I wrote here. So the Tuco, the Tico, the Muke, they're all nice for sure, absolutely. I'm just gonna go here so that I can save my song. And it's like brutal, right? Okay, yeah, no, they're awesome. Bye, you stay, you know? And again, it's just like, this could be a testament to, unless it really pulls the ground up and reverses everything, keep it. Even if I had moderate amount of amazement from the other plugins, I gotta remember I wrote the music into it. So, you know, I should really go like, oh wow, that's the thing that completely solves a lot of problems. Do you have the Fairchild of UAD? No. I mean, yes, but not for Spark. I have it for the Apollo, and I don't know how or why. I think it should translate to Spark, but did they make it for Spark? Yes, right? Of course they did. The 660 and 670. I think that it will, I've used tons of it. So if it was like an acoustic guitar, I would kind of like it. The movement itself will be kind of nice, but not as modern somehow. Like it would be a little bit more bumpy, and just, real compressor stuff. The saturation, like the modeling is really nice. Here, remember, we don't have color that I know of. The 60, 30, 20 and stuff, they just add the harmonic stuff. But it's different. But for example, we tried even ultramarine, and that had a very nice, and I think in pre-production I tried it. The problem was CPU usage and also latency. Because if I use the zero latency version, it would be easier, but the session was already too high. So at this stage, I would probably be hitting 2048 buffer size. It's too much. So that's nice. So a testament to the fact that you're staying into a system that works. So for me, this is kind of nice. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this guy in here. So we go 60, 30, 20, Soundtech, compressor bank, good math, and BEQ. And remember, I mean, this thing, Make Believe Studios, that I've tried, this is just, it's staying. And I even saved the preset here. Did we hear how it was before and after? It's alright, bypass and I press play. Same passage as you. The only thing you're gonna hear for weeks is dun 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 dun. Okay, let's go. Hear how the lows are a little bit not out of control, but it's compensating itself. I'm doing what? -2, this is 0, and it's fascinating because let me go B so that we don't mess up. I have no readings over it, so 7's doing 47, 1 dB. So I'm even pushing the lows, right? But I'm not. I love this plugin, what it does. Like, I don't need the readout. Get out of here. It's just, I don't even look at what it did. So fast. Oh, see, I mean, I'm doing stuff even with 1. There's like a 0.20. I don't even know if that was intentional, which is the beauty of these plugins. Here, 008. Did I touch that? Probably, no, yes. Let's see. Mix touch. Yeah. We're gonna save. Oh, okay, the blend. Oh, no, the interface is here. The blending, okay, so I touched it. That was 0 because I shouldn't click on it. Let me do that. Can I do that? Am I gonna move? Yeah, see, you click it, you touch it. Awesome, but that was 0.11, so it was on, while the purple one isn't. There's no readouts, can't do much about it. Sauce, which is cool. There's a sauce that this plugin has. And I have it, says Mark, also the DSP as DSP plugin, also the native version free if you have the DSP. So I should have it. I don't have it installed. Do I have it installed? Let me just go back here, just because we have that. Do I have it installed? Fairchild? Let's see. See? I don't know why. Start demo, I can't do it because I need the licenses to come back from it for doing UAD Spark Explain the next series. So I will not start the demo because for the life of me, that could be the lifesaver that grants me the chance to do the next series, right? So honest to God, I have it. I have the 670. I have a lot of older plugins that I actually bought. For why isn't it translating to my account? It's beyond me. Unless, okay, maybe I have it registered on another email where I had the Apollo. That could be that. Now, tip for me, try the 660 as well instead of the 70, because the 60 has more balls and the 70 is a little bit more poetic and deep. So against the 30, the Mac DSP, maybe the 660 would be amazing. Yeah. It should be included with the Spark Sub. I think the reason, Martin, this is not happening is the email I'm registered to is not the other email where I have my Apollo. I got 2 accounts. And I think the Apollo and the 2192, the converter, I don't know if you know that, UA used to make an AD converter with the 2192, which is an amazing Class A thing. from the guy who created the Brutal Bomber after. So it's that guy who designed it for UA, then UA discontinued it because it was too expensive to build. I don't know what happened. It's just unbelievable. That's a great AD, but if you're making kind of a rock record, or country song, Nashville guitars meets stuff, for electronic music maybe, it's still great, but I would have other choices just because it's Class A. So the Bomber came out of that. It's probably better, the B2, but yeah, the hardware. So that one. The testament here is the bundle that I'm using has been restricted because I've used the compressor from Mac DSP rather than using what was the glue, which is still, nice. Do we want to try the glue and see if we kind of miss it? Because that one, as a composer now, I would be like, wait, what if that one sounded better? I have it here. Boom, Sky Warmer sound. All right, so let's try this. Same passage, let's go compressor bank and then the glue. I think it doesn't quite match the gain structure, so we'll see. So let's start compressor bank. We got a nice glitch. That was nice. I'm compressing way too much. So way too much. So I propose we keep it at 3.1, which is kind of where the compressor bank is, but it's not working because the auto release is a different timing than the compressor bank. And so we gotta match it through first the threshold. Then it will still feel different because the glitch was, why? I told you, right? It could be my own music, right? It could be that record, right? You don't know it was a glitch. Like I can, that is a testament again to the type of music this record will be. Sound cards peaking at 100% CPU use. Again, let me double check that I'm not making mistakes and I don't have two compressors going at the same time, because if we like it, we keep it. The glue, man, it's got that thing. When you let me copy A to B. When you feather touch it, that auto release speaks. Let's try that a little bit less here. Well, obviously we're louder, so because we're not even compressing, so we're just letting it go. How about we get it fair? Man, this is another area in which the glue excels. For some reason, the 4 dB GR, which in SSL is kind of nice set, on the glue, it's not what I like it with the auto release. Either more or less, but I think this has more of an Alan Smart vibe to me, which is kind of nice. So okay, now we're kicking its butt a little bit. And so, for example, this is how I composed through it, but here, but I still have a weak spot. I kind of like the centered attitude it has. God, why is it so hard? But still, I love this plugin. And I think it's the only one that has that Alan Smart C2 vibe, which is it's nice. It's kind of a thing. The auto release is very, very slow, but it's got that vibe. So it's hard. Well, I have the preset saved. What if I kind of stay a little bit easier on this thing? Maybe redesign it a little bit. Maybe let's keep these a little bit higher. Let's try that. Okay. Well, now I really like it, I think. A lot of knee, which is unusual, but it's kind of letting it go. And I like, you know what I like from, again, kind of a like composer standpoint, that the peaks are coming out. I can see you see the red, right? It means that, you know, it's coming out. I might want to find a spot where I am not, where I'm adding a little bit of gain, and it should go down. And I can do it on some things. For example, maybe on the 6020, I can do it maybe on, you see the output of compressor bank, but its input is going red. So somewhere before that, I might kind of push it. And Martin says the Mac DSP looks, holds it better together. It is, but because it's a little bit less real, it's a little bit more stereotypical compressor, you know, not exactly VCA and stuff. And I have a lot of color going here and there. I think this Plus 04 is kind of similar to the Attitude this one has. CPU usage wise, certainly the CB303 is lighter, for sure, because this is linear phase over sampling. Oh, see, detect silence to save CPU. No, never, don't do it. And but I think I had what? I think I had oh, here. Oversampling, real time, 2 times down and up linear phase. It is really a good setting. And try this if you have the glue or a demo. It sounds completely different. And if you tried linear 2 times, you don't want to go lower than that. But yes, it has a little bit of a grabbing thing, you know. So yeah, I'm undecidedness. I'm gonna keep it here, but I think compressor bank kind of nails it. How loud are we on this one, on the ML4000? See here how I set it? It's already kind of close to the -1 digital distribution. It should not be working. We should not read any gain reduction. This is on par with how I write stuff. This is okay. And it's here just to protect from the overs. It's not here because I'll use it for whatever music. So we got 1.1 milliseconds and 46 plus 7. Why do we have such a high latency on this thing? Because Alberto is overusing Reason Rack plugins. James is gonna go like, oh gosh, Pulverizer again. Why is he ruining stuff? Well, good news is the Voyager isn't being used. What kind of patch does it have? Honestly, you can play on this one as well. Okay, well, it's a little bit, but not that much. Right? If your brain is used to go to 1024, I can do it. Can I say something about this 1024? Completely, don't quote me. This could be like super weird. It feels like the latency is kind of shorter, smaller than the 1024 on Nuendo. And here, like, you can unsubscribe, format C, RM-RF, you know, whatever, cancel YouTube account, take a flight to Honolulu, leave, you know, keep leaving. And then there's a rocket waiting for you, poof, when you leave planet Earth. Because it's just like, he said it. It could be the most stupid thing ever. It feels faster for 1024. Like it's... If you told me this was 512, I would feel 512. Why is this happening? We got 50 milliseconds of latency. But Also, this rack plugin is doing nothing. Now we start digressing. We got the Arturia to test. It's better with? It's better without. Oh, see? It's going load unload. Oh my gosh, this is horrible. Don't trust it. Oh, because I'm using... What am I playing? I'm not playing the Voyager. Why? Because I have a local on. So this is not the Moog. Did you think it was the Voyager? I did. You know what it is? It's the base station. Not kidding. It could have been the Moog, right? Did you know they had this? It's not a Moog. It's a base station. Star Trek, Superbooth 23, they had this Star Wars scene where they're looking outside, you know, like, what is it, like the first Star Wars. And Obi-Wan, and there's a Jan Solo's guy. It's a base station. It was, maybe I can put it, you said, I think I have my buffer 256 within Reaper. Maybe I can put it at 128 since I don't use Nebula stuff anymore. Well, look at what, I'm using a lot of stuff. But we should find out, maybe James knows what, like, how do you tell the longest delay applied to plugins? Like which plugin is doing the most latency? So, how do you know? You know because there's 43.1. Is there a different color somewhere? I think there's a plugin I should probably... See this one, for example? Baseline. This one's not playing. Base station. 52.1. Okay. So who's doing this much latency? Let's try and turn it on. Orange clip? No. Orange clip is just awesome also because it doesn't do any of that. Okay. Mix head? No, 0.2, so it cannot be that. Must be a plugin that has a lot. Morph verb? No. Tool? 6030? No. Hardware instruments. All of the hardware instruments are delayed by a lot. So maybe maybe Cobalt reason, which I haven't even used. Maybe Reactor 6. See how when I offload a plugin, it's just reloading it? Fury? No. Cobalt? No. I have no idea. Concerto? Concerto? Maybe these ones? Ooh! Oh la la! Okay. So, also my MIDI interface was off when I played that. 48.7 milliseconds for going out and then coming back in from a... This is wrong. This is probably wrong. Or not. Maybe it needs to, because it goes here. To KHS stereo. Alright. I don't know. Let's go to the synths and let's do plus here, because I don't know how to create stuff. Instrument, brute. Mini brute. This is awesome. I can use it. Where is it? Here. Mini brute. Here. And we're gonna play it in its beautiful 1024. Martin asked for it. Request time's always up. So here's the mini brute, right? And the real one is really nice. The plugin is probably even nicer for some stuff. So keys. Nexus Cyberscape. Look at that. I have no idea which kind of patch. Copywriter 3, Egyptian keys, biting ARP. Is there a kind of initialized patch here? No, maybe not. We don't need it. We don't need it. You bought it today. It's awesome. So let's do this. Let's raise the presets. Let's talk about weird stuff. This stuff. So we play. So keys on, keys off. I think it's nice that you don't. I don't need the keys, but look at how whoop, they move there. I usually keep it this way. Effects and open here on macros. So settings, pretty self-explanatory. Let me have it so that it plays. Right? Tubular bells. No. So, I mean, here it is. This is insane. We cannot use any of my effects because if you go, I don't know, like black hole, I haven't pushed the, okay, the avalanche. That's a song. You can start there. Boom. I was just wanted to say that you can easily use this 3/0 brute lead. Done. Go home. Absolutely. Like, it speaks a lot. And don't rush to develop these into 300 tracks of movement. You know, try, which I think it's the hardest thing as a composer, try to think like somebody who's just sliding into your song. You know, don't feel pressed. I know I have that problem to kind of demonstrate that I can do stuff, you know. And so as a composer, like, I know that I could do this with that sound. It's shut up, just let it be, because it just sets a mood, right? So at the templates, you can select default. There's an empty slot. Okay, templates. Where is it? Ah, here, right, scroll, default. Okay, this will be like, usually Moog stuff. It is. It's usually that sawtooth there. Okay, so settings kind of mono priority last makes sense to me. MP slide, voice allocation, rotate. I always kept that. MIDI controller, you know, if you have one of those, do it. Arturia makes great controllers as well. I have a key step behind me, but I'm not using it right now. Macros. I usually keep macros. Tutorials are awesome, but they, you know, let you learn the plugin. We don't want to learn it. No, they're awesome. Just no jokes. So otherwise, you don't look at them because you think they don't work. So delay and reverb, awesome. I usually do either keep the reverb last, and what I like to kind of brainstorm my ideas is having the delay, nothing, and then the reverb. Okay, so I can always inject something before and after, sort of like my starting point. Okay, so where does it start? Well, nice pitch mod. For some reason, okay, yes. I remember the demo wasn't moving this, and I was like, why? You know, it should move around, right? Distortion is great as well. It's a big crasher. Yeah, I mean, Arturia has the problem, sarcastically speaking, like the solid point to be a company that makes amazing effects as well. So their average is really, really high. So when you blend something like, I don't know, we talked about Disc Cold Fire. Disc Cold Fire is fire, literally, to use that term, right? It's insane. So you got a mixer where you have the mixer for your oscillators. If you know, play it with the mixer down, kind of Moog style, you hear nothing. You might hear resonating filters, self-oscillate, whatever, but you know, the mixer is down. So my first step here is usually oscillator mix, just to learn it. You got saw, right? Oh, we got reverb. All right. Will we keep it? Yeah, we keep it. Like super loud. Let's try that. Hold on. Decay. Damping, not a lot. Stereo width, maybe a lot. We keep these ones, just a little bit of reverb. No, let's dampen it a little bit more, size down. All right, we got like it. There's also an LPF here, so okay, right. And the brute factor, absolutely. Distortion is great, but Martin says the brute factor. I was gonna say that, like the effects are awesome, but here it's the brute factor that sells you. So, gonna go an octave down, then square, nice, triangle, right, it's got that oomphy thing, typical, like not perfect. And noise, okay? So this is just the mixer thing. So you can do, like, mix your waves, right? There's a sub os, obviously it can be 1, -1, or 2. So again, right? You create a hook, you just go. No resonance, envelope amounts, typical Moog stuff. How much tracking will open the filter, the mode. So you got LP, BP, HP, so low pass, band pass, high pass, and notch. The resonating factor. But where are the twists? The mixer, the waves, and everything are fine, but the ultra saw and the metalizer and the brute factor are amazing. And the arpeggiator. Okay, obviously. And a little bit of the dispersion, and what else I really loved about these? The destination to cut off, obviously it seems stupid, but it's all you need, and sometimes it's not that easy to assign it. Here, it's just a slider, like a switch. Martin says, I had the microbrute, this soft synth compares pretty darn close to the hardware. Yes, I've played it only in very like noisy kind of environment, but it had that nice thing, yes. So, you know, here there's convenience of software, obviously. So ultra saw, let's try the saw first without sub-os. Here, what is happening? That's the amount of super sawing, so it's kind of like it's flanging stuff, and then you have the rates. And it oscillates in a way. What I like is that it creates kind of a sub-oscillator feel. And here we have the most boring filter, open filter, right? So see, you can go cut off down, typical Moog stuff. You can go, I don't know, maybe arpeggiator, what is it, down, octave swing on, the rate synced, so right, we can probably, okay, divide it here, so it feeds the clock, but it's going in intervals. So you can, does it latch? No, right, but I can use the arpeggiator from the base station to do it, but let's use it here. Right? Okay, let's keep that. It seems that they don't sell the microbrute anymore. Oh, okay, well, I would go use market for it because I think it's one of the most successful things they've done. So I can't do that part because I need to kind of use 2 fingers over an octave and a half. Well, we'll do this. Something like it, okay? What I wanted to demonstrate is this. We go cut off down. Here the metalizer, which I love. I don't usually use triangles, but this is the most effed up triangle ever. Power of FM, I think. I'm still holding on the brute factor. Okay, then we go like up here. This is fine. Let me go a little bit less here. This is for the envelope amount, I think for the pulse width, so we don't have a pulse width right now. But what I wanted to let you hear is that I'm gonna open the track a little bit. open a little bit of vintage, unison. It's a massive thing. Now we don't need that much of ultra, like the mixer can be lowered down, which I think saturates, right? So you don't always want to go up all the way. Like with a lot of Moogs and stuff, and I think Arturia, I'm not sure, but it could be that if you start cranking up stuff, you gotta be wary of the fact that you might saturate the mixer itself. So and when you drop in the sub, oh, it feels so good. It's so nice, even in a higher octave. All right, just minor chord down, like the easiest thing ever. Just so nice. And we're not using this, but I'm telling you, if you do this, just bring in some delay. It feels so good. What else do I want to do? I want to use some. I want to use some resonance. Maybe last, what I would use is just a parametric EQ and kind of do this by hand. Some of my favorite sounds all the time, or you want to call them plucks, you want to call them whatever you want. There's a whole family of, maybe because it was the first time I got close to some of the, best composers for video games that were, kind of opening up. Not opening up, I was kind of bothering them to tell me what they were doing. So maybe that's it. And I haven't used macros yet. So brightness, timbre, time, and movement are these macros, and you can let it learn, right? Martin probably already knows that. Different destinations, and then when you move the brightness knob, the brightness does all of those things. And this is, I don't know if you know it, a lot of people don't know it, and then they know and then they forget. The Nord lead by Clavia actually became really famous because of the morphing behavior that it had. And not a lot of people really use morphing or poly channel that the Nord lead has. You have the one right there. You can see that here. And this one is essentially kind of a morphing behavior. So, right? So, I don't know. For example, velocity. First off, I would start a little bit of movement here. I remember I kind of liked it that way, this way. I don't know, just personalizing my thing. But we got the aftertouch can change the vibrato, the filter, which is nice. So do I have aftertouch? Yeah, I have aftertouch, but I've set it like brutal. I have to kind of change the thing, but I would do just a little bit. Can't even feel it, right? That's a trick I always do as a composer. I'm not a big aftertouch person, but I kind of like these filter changes, not with the mod wheel, because it's like, it's a little bit too much, but it's like, I doubt I wouldn't probably even feel it in the mix. Sometimes it's all you need for this. But now Brood. It's closing in too much, so. How nice that is. I love it with bandpass. Now the envelopes with the Brood and the bandpass is the bandpass with envelope amounts and changes becomes usually a lot stronger. So if you, I think Moog is the one that has it the most. If you go from low pass to bandpass, your envelopes will sound wrong. So the easiest is just to touch the envelope amount, but sometimes you actually need to go to filter envelopes, especially if you want to kind of pluck things around. Martin says the only thing that they could improve on is being able to move the effect slots from position 1 to 2. You can copy, but it's not so easy to move them. Right, you can do this, copy to 2, and then you just do your stuff. But, you know, you could just drag it. That's true. Like, you know, drag it. That's true. That's true. You could drag it. So, for example, here, what I would do is just maybe lower things around. I just want to try and brutalize it somehow. See how many lows we're getting? I would still do it like with an effect pedal. I don't usually, you know, need. No, this gets insane. Let's try and get it to insane levels. Do we have kind of maybe compressor? So see, for example, now I need 4. I want 4 before. So we go copy to 2, copy to 3, and then here we just change it. And I go compressor, and then I go ratio all the way up, threshold, kind of loud, but then output 0, the attack super fast, the release maybe 250, 100, and just keep it there because we're gonna get loud, right? So I just wanna make sure that we're not overly exploding. See, it's just going there, right? So let's try that. Let's try 16, something very weird. 16 bar and sync. Okay, not swinging. Just, I mean, I hear a bass dropping and a kick in 4. I don't know, it's just spacing out, and I'm like 21 and I'm probably drinking a little bit too many Red Devils or whatever. Just nice. Okay, so so many things. We want to try like longer sound. I mean, basses it can do for clear, but what I like about this is how it plucks. So not a lot of older modern synths do that, and this is cool. Brute factor. Let me try and go with like a sub. Let's go pulse right now because we haven't tried that. This is almost like, yeah, I didn't read the chat. Martin says, you can get it sound like a 303. I get a little bit psytrance vibes here. I was just like I had it here, like I'm making psytrance music, just like I had it without wanting to. But it's because it's like, it's probably, I mean, the ARP rate of course does it, but. And also what I like is not always have super fast attacks. Let's go low pass again. Let's try pulse width without. Let me try without it. So, and now we're doing different type of drugs all of a sudden, and we shouldn't mix them, but we shouldn't do them. YouTube's gonna completely eradicate my account, like gone. But shouldn't do them. But also, worst thing is, we mix it. But because here we're completely in a different era. This is like more 70s, right? Or the 90s kind of vibe. But that sound, because of the brute factor and how it's enveloping, if it makes any sense, is a lot like a JP8000 kind of, because of the super. I mean, I didn't even have. Did I have a saw here? Maybe not. The ultra saw has that system like the super saw, right? That it just gets added. Like a virus has that chance to just build it up, and it trance music made a lot of use of it. So yeah, for sure. Yeah, they have super unison. Yeah, exactly. So, well, even this is more like a Euro Truck Simulator. But hold on. I have an idea here. Can it sustain indefinitely? I think yes, if we do like arpeggios. I mean, the LFO itself, you know what is also awesome about these that brings, from the Moog and stuff, but still is in the synth. This is a great synth to learn synthesis on, because you can do a lot, but it's presented to you in a way that it seems like, there's not a lot to do. And then the sounds you can build, as usual, are insane. Okay, these are like... Yeah, this is a blarg kind of sound. Let's try it. See, for example, here, can I detune it? Or, I mean, I can detune it with Bitwig, because I do, just an operator. Yeah, it's not too difficult. Martin says, that's the reason why I like it so much. You can create pretty awesome sounds without tweaking ours. Yeah, absolutely. This is absolutely weird, but as a single note in tune, it can be really, really devastating, and it can be like, the sound like here will need definitely less stuff and things, but let me see if we just lower it. Okay, here maybe. See, for example, here, down rate, okay. You can get percussive sounds just because it's self-resonating with a very, very fast decay. Absolutely, or you can announce it. Even the reverse envelope amount, if you do a lot of this stuff, is... Hear the notes? That's the very nice thing about how it's saturating itself. I think it's a sub-oscillator being so loud into the brute factor that it's creating the note. But the attack of the filter envelope is not allowing the note to kind of build up, so it relies a little bit on the resonance. It's just how the unit crashes in itself. you know, it's not just one element that gives you that sound, it's how it's integrating itself. On real synths, that's how it feels, you know, when you nail it, and sometimes you can't even save the preset. So here you can, it will be 100% there. And I guarantee you that the feeling of knowing it's 100% there, it's a lot. And I remember, I mean, you saw it, I'm carving the lows, because if I'm not, then we're getting tons of. But that's just some of the easiest, like this is a very easy cue. You don't need filters, you got just go like here. Kind of like to have just the two shelves, and it sits around in the drums, for example. So. Ooh, this is nice. Let's feedback more. Why is it not syncing itself that well? 16, 8. Is it swinging? No. Well, it's kind of nice though. It's going away. Maybe it's the feedback that is the one. No? Okay. This is just like, this is great sound design with the synth that it's like, you play lines, you play vintage 70s music. Wow, this is insane. I like how it actually breaks away from that. I need something super fast that does. Okay, this one. I think because of the stereo spread, could be, yes, that there's a small offset. You're right. These ones also nice. Nice find. Thank you, Martin, for it. It's right. It's a stereo spread because you see what it does, right? Whoop. It just a little bit offsets things, and by putting it completely zero, it's not mono because it's like the reverb's giving it. But hear how claustrophobic and kind of centered that is. But the feedback is spreading out. Nice. I mean, this is the stuff that, you know, can make the cue that you're given. And you buy libraries that have these specific cues, and you need to buy more and feed on, you know, get fed by people who develop this stuff and just go, I have no ideas. It's all very basic stuff. Like, you know, I mean, if we opened it to what here, there's none of my effects, but if you go like, I don't know, Rebouncer 4. Oh, now it's glitching out on me, but because I've opened more stuff. Right. Or maybe, I don't know, even Black Hole. I mean, come on. Hear how just gives me anxiety just to do that. Just a simple, you know, exactly, a horror movie, or like, it's a suspense scene, right? It can be anything. It's just, you know, very dark alley and whatever. Just a suspense, like something has to happen. Usually you don't write the cue with these that leads into the. This is a very good point. Like, you know, great sound for a horror movie. Okay, so why would this cue work? Because it's just got the right vibe for being like. It's percussive, it's got that atmosphere. But because it's short, the reverb is kind of building on the feedback of the delay. It's just giving us more anxiety, right? right? But when I use the black hole pedal, it just, was reverb into reverb, right? And so it had that too much, which is perfect. But when you write the cue, you don't write the cue with the actual action scene, right? If it's a suspense scene, then maybe something happens and then there's action on it, a very common thing, right? And you write two cues differently. So this itself, that's what I was gonna say, it's a cue. It's already done. Like that's suspense 1, suspense 2, suspense 11. I just build them, they put them there, they can loop them around, they have different variations maybe of these, or you write it for, I don't know, a minute of these. Then they will cut it to a point where you write the other cue, which is an action-based cue or whatever, it has a little bit more of an action movie pace, and they know how to put it in. Maybe the next cue has a little bit of these with a fill in, like a reverse sound and stuff like it, that they can still cut if they want to move around, because then there's a lot of effects, and so your track will be mixed differently than this one that maybe has no dialogue at all, just, movement and stuff, and then there's, I don't know, people fighting or whatever, shooting, yeah, right? Same thing. You can even lower the RPF of the delay to make it more dark. Yeah, exactly. This is, at first I think I kind of missed this stuff. That's, you got an easy super band pass that you can set. And if I move it here, and I can't move it here, we were just saying that, right? If I want to copy these to 4, now what I would do is I would go copy to 3. Actually, I would do copy to 3, copy to 2, and this one I can sacrifice. And I don't need the other one I had, I just do this. So usually I like to kind of EQ it, and then the delay can be a little bit more open, but it's never gonna feed on a lot of information. See, I'm closing the filter for a note, and then next bars or 2 bars after, I open it and I have a completely different vibe. So at least it's so easy to automate, and I don't do it with LFOs, I just do it by hand. I play mouse, key. That's why I have my keyboard on my right side. We were talking about on Discord about controllers, right? That you want to get something. I am left-handed, but these are all, I don't know. I don't know of a guy who just has a keyboard on the left and the mouse on the right. I can do mouse on the right night and day. I can do it. I can swap stuff around. I just have my mouse on the left because the musical keyboard is more important. So I need my right hand to play stuff. So I don't know. It just happens to me that I would use my right hand. And so that's why a controller like this, being close to it, I just usually record it, and I move the mouse while it's recording, and the mouse is getting captured as well, so the automation is getting written at the same time. It sounds weird to say like it's a new type of musicianship. It's actually super easy. I mean, especially for it, of course, this is a note. Right? Easy. So, and the vintage sounds awesome. The fine tune, obviously, I don't quite touch it because I need that one, but okay, let's do the always D minor. All right, what's going here? This could be the intermediate cue. This could be leading into and they could layer it around. You could try different layers for the action scene, because these ones are already pacing up. And let it go. Here, minor third. It's kind of getting thrown in the washing machine, right? And then you land back on the 1 minor. And here it lands. And here you would write the groove, right? And you let it roll. It's not meant to be an offense. I was gonna say like on the most stupid synth ever, which is not to say that this is bad. It's just to say you don't need the most amazing. That's why real stuff like this still works. You know, I'm surrounded by it. It's just so simple. It's just so creative, and you get a lot of leeway out of stuff like this. And this is sound design that people buy libraries for, so that they have, you know, suspense stuff to write. I have to write stuff super fast, and this one's fast, you know, but at least it's your sound. You save it and it's gone. And here, this is insane. Come on. And this is all because of the filter envelope. So, and now it's becoming more of a note, right? Try and do something else, and then I'll raise. Oh wow, it's 9:15. I got completely carried away, didn't watch the clock. Here how this is what do I want to say? Okay, you know how you have a drum machine, it's like kicks, snares, claps, hats. This is the hi-hat information that you can inject into, but it's a synth, but it's kind of the hi-hat information. This is the sort of like 16 notes, the high density rhythms, right? And then you have the kick, and you can use real kick from a drum machine, and you can use these instead of a hi-hat. That's really nice. And being portable, I can work anywhere with my laptop, absolutely. Convenient to use this software because, you know, you can save exactly. Like when it gets overly complicated, it's kind of a shame that you say, you know, detune 0.204. Well, you know, that's exactly what made the sound be that way. Now we can save it and it's cool. So, a little bit less here. You hear that? Boop, boop, boop. That note? That was insane. That's a brute factor doing that. Now I will not get it. I don't know how I did it. It was because of a resonance thing. It was probably the cutoff being with the brute factor. It was really nice. It had that boo boo, that alarm thing with a kind of a helicopter kind of sound. Really cool. So it's one synth. This is just the mini brute 5. This is super cool. One hand, one mouse, 1024 latency. I mean, there we go. It's kicking a lot of the lows. Let's try not cut the lows. So if you get it to magically kind of join, I'm spacing out myself. I'm like, I don't even know. Am I streaming? I don't care. Who are you? I've got to feel better like the soft synth. Well, I've always liked the mini brute. Like the first thing, even at Superbooth last year, when I got into Arturias, it was full of people, and it was like, you know, I knew already what I wanted to try, and the Freak already and stuff. I mean, the real things, and there were laptops with like the plugins, but yeah, and the controllers, and people were, you know, looking at the controllers because it's nice. This could work for my setup. Does it have an arpeggiator? What can it do? MIDI CV, like CV for modules. And then I was like, there, you know, on the synths, you know. So it's nice. All right, it's 9:20. I'm gonna dinner, late dinner night. So awesome. I mean, we could stay here for hours, which we did, sort of. And great sound design tool, great complicated stuff that, or just the typical sounds. Like, how do they make that? Well, you can do it with anything as long as you have the right modulators, the right filters, and quick effects. Because synthesizers, we know, when you have them in a situation where they are, you know, completely dry, they don't sound very motivating. But here you got the effects of kind of a pedal board, and you can see it, and it's easy, and it sound good. So you have this environment of your effects, and you feed these 100% megaton synthesizer that looks so innocent, like, you know, oscillator mixer and stuff, but it's a Steiner filter with the brute factors, just brutal. That's true. So, all right, now we need food. Thank you very much again. We just brainstormed through stuff, and we played, we tried mix compressors as usual. That's exactly how it should be. Brainstorming things, doing stuff around, having fun, and now, yeah, within the soft synth, this thing is complete. So that was lastly the Mini Brute 5. Thank you, Arturia, for just allowing us to do that today, with the fact that I can actually save this stuff. I'll probably go back and do a couple steps where I had that thing, save it, and then go to dinner after the stream. Okay, or maybe retrack myself while recording to just find out where I had the right stuff. Okay, so people, thank you very much. We'll see each other on Wednesday. Thank you as usual. Check my Patreon, check the other videos I have. Remember, if we've done this, it's because of people like Martin, like James, like Marco, like Gary, like other people that weren't here today, who contribute with, you know, their actual wallet, because you can talk all day long, but these people are putting their money to see this stuff. And I am extremely humbled and extremely happy. You know, I love this stuff. I mean, I'm not here because I must do it. I'm here because I want to do it. But it's great to have your support, have your chat here, talk. I love that we're doing these live, that we're trying ideas, and then I'm, you know, just making mistakes and trying stuff and saving. Awesome. So check out all the links here in the description, and we'll see each other on Wednesday or on Discord if you're a patron of mine. Have a good one. It's Friday. Enjoy. See you soon. Ciao.